Today we're talking about goals, realistic ones. I guess we could talk about unrealistic goals too, because we've got a lot of unrealistic people like myself in this community. So thank you guys for being here. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Rising Tide LinkedIn Live series on LinkedIn. If you're listening to the Digital Hospitality feed, please join us on LinkedIn Live, Cali BBQ Media. You can follow us on LinkedIn and join the live shows. We want to hear your voice. We want to hear your opinions, your stories on the topics that we talk about. If you have an idea for a topic for this room, we meet every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. London time. We believe in smartphone storytelling. We believe in digital hospitality. And we've been doing this for 3 years. We've got an incredible community, people all over the globe in sales and entrepreneurs that join, and we share our secrets. We share our secrets and we get a little bit better as the goal every single room. So thank you guys for being here. Michael, go ahead. 60 seconds. Who are you? What are you working on a Wednesday? Thanks for being here. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Over for the back call to the previous last week, because I think working from home always consistent. Mike Biseglia, producer, Cali BBQ Media. This week working on some digital hospitality content, pumping out with some great clients, listening to some great storytelling that listening through, and then we'll be sharing with the community in the next upcoming weeks. Excited for this topic in particular. I know it's one that I struggle with in good ways and bad ways, so looking forward to hearing everybody else's thoughts on it.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Gavin, welcome to the stage. 60 seconds. Who are you? What are you working on a Wednesday? Go for it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gavin Kinzel, producer at Cali BBQ Media. Caught myself there, almost said barbecue. I am working on some Room for Seconds podcast stuff today for Crave-worthy brands, primarily working on external clients at Cali BBQ Media, and a lot on my plate today, so excited.
Awesome. Thank you, Gavin. Elizabeth, welcome back. Are you able to unmute?
Yes, apparently I've been unmuted. So sorry about that.
You're all good. No worries.
I just saw that. Yes, Elizabeth Doss here. I am a gift maker. I make animated gifts specifically for brands to use to build community, to be able to send thank yous and holiday greetings and all those fun things through animation. But I help them harness thought leadership across social platforms using Giphy. They who are serving up 10 billion gifts daily to 1 billion users daily. So I help brands harness that weird little corner of the internet. Today, I'm helping my father set up his Starlink. So we were on the roof. We were trying to get things linked up and satellites and all the things, and I'm over it. Like, I hear Sean, like, I have to put passwords. My dad's like, I don't know my passwords. And I'm like, oh gosh, this never ends. You got to keep track of all that stuff. So that's what I've been working on today. I'll hand it back to you, Sean.
Awesome. And I'll share a quick story with the community. So we repurpose these LinkedIn live calls into digital hospitality podcast episodes. And Josue Casillas, who was one of Cali Barbecue Media's first clients, and I'm talking pre-pandemic first clients that Kyle and Stover and I worked on. He has an incredible American Factory Wheel company here in San Diego. Over they sell rims, so they sell rims and they repair rims. He started doing social storytelling. He's rolled out a Potholes Are A-Holes series on Instagram and on TikTok. It's phenomenally produced content, but why is it relevant to this room? It's relevant to this room because Josue sent me a message on Saturday and said, hey, I've been hearing a lot about Elizabeth and the gifts that she makes. Can you make an introduction? And the reason why he heard about Elizabeth and the gifts that she makes is because she introduces herself every time, and people are amazing people that don't have time maybe to show up on LinkedIn Live. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Anyone in this group that introduces themselves, we are all weirdly available. If you need me to connect you to anybody that speaks here on stage, I would love to connect you to these amazing humans. Elizabeth, I can't wait to see the Potholes Are A-Holes or anything that you and Josue come up with. So Josue, we appreciate you, brother.
Definitely. We had our first call yesterday and it was a lot of fun. We were already laughing about some possibilities. So
Amazing. That's deep digital storytelling. So people that want to know about what's the ROI of storytelling, it's meeting magical humans all over the globe to do really cool stuff. Kyle Pfluger, go for it.
What's up, everybody? Great to be here as always, and I will echo the shout out to our friends over at American Factory Wheel. Always love catching up with those peeps, Josue and Gerald and the rest of the team there. What is up? My name is Kyle. I am the owner of Mithril Media. We are a small family-owned digital agency based here in San Diego. We specialize in helping small to medium businesses find their digital voice and amplify that online. I'm also the digital strategy director here at Cali BBQ Media. Love working with the team here. Love being a part of this call every week, and excited to dive in today.
Amazing. Thank you, Kyle. Troy Hooper, I know you're only here for a short time, but whenever you're here, we're grateful. Happy
That's very
50th
kind of you.
birthday, Troy Hooper.
Yeah,
Birthday
right.
boy.
The word has gotten out finally that
Are you gonna share with the community what happened on your amazing magical birthday?
I think this community knows, and so first let me say a very humble and very overwhelmed and grateful and warm and loved I feel. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to Sean, who obviously spearheaded an effort to wish me a happy birthday at scale, and digitally through lots of videos. I didn't count, but it definitely was more than at least 20 videos, I think, that got made and sent to me. I did learn something. If you hit at your name, first and last name with it separated, at Troy Space Hooper on LinkedIn, if you do that for your name or any business or anything you want to track, I didn't know you could do this. In the search bar at the top of your LinkedIn, at Troy Space Hooper, it will show you every mention of you on LinkedIn. Did it? Is that okay? I'm the only one that found that to be fascinating. I tested it by accident. I don't know where I came up with the idea. So I was able to scroll and see every mention of me on LinkedIn chronologically throughout those couple of days, and I'm just super thankful and grateful and extremely humbled. And it was special. Even though it wasn't my 50th birthday, it was spectacularly awesome. Anyway. Do I need to do an introduction? Troy Hooper, CEO of...
You missed my story, and the answer is yes. You always need to do an introduction because you never know who's listening and who
That's
doesn't
right.
know.
And we're recording this.
And I just met with Josh Sharkey, and he told me that he didn't know who Troy Hooper was until 2 weeks ago, and I said, I don't know how that's possible, but I remember
spectacularly
you
awesome.
Me, and yeah, that's why we.
I'm really famous among about 300 humans on the planet, so that's great. There's always room for opportunity.
No one knows who we are.
That's right. Nobody's coming to tell your story. All right, Troy Hooper, CEO, founder of Kiwi Restaurant Partners. We're a brand scaling consulting firm that's becoming a private equity ownership firm very, very, very soon. So exciting things happening, deals that are being signed, investments that are being made. More news to come very, very soon. Exciting things happening. In that vein, though, Pepper Lunch Restaurants, under their holding company, Hot Palate, hired us as consultants and then brought me and some of our team on full-time, which makes me the CEO of Hot Palate America, the parent company of Pepper Lunch Restaurants. I'm the co-CEO of Pepper Lunch, the brand globally, and we have 520 restaurants in 15, soon to be 16 countries. And today it was announced, finally, it's public on QSR Magazine and Franchise Times Magazine. We sold our largest deal of 20 units to the Karcher family. The Karcher family, for those of you in Southern California in the Western United States, it's the son and grandson of the founders of Carl's Jr. And they own about 140 Carl's Jr.'s and some Jamba Juices and about 17 Dave's Hot Chickens. They are now a 20-unit commitment partner of Pepper Lunch in Southern California and Las Vegas. They're going to be building 5 more Las Vegas stores as well. That's exciting. And then to wrap up my introduction, which is way too freaking long, I always forget to say it. I am the host of The Pineapple Perspective, sponsored by Pepper Lunch Restaurants. It is a podcast and global show, a dynamic video and audio experience where we bring wonderful people like you, leaders around the industry from all aspects of the business. And we talk about what hospitality means to them, how it's implied in their business, and what they think about the modern age of our industry and what's coming. So that's the Pineapple Perspective on all platforms that you might listen or watch on YouTube. That's me.
There it is, Troy, birthday boy, Hooper. I wish there was a rocket ship reaction emoji for LinkedIn, but I don't know if LinkedIn's listening. Troy's on a rocket ship. We appreciate you taking time. Always be here for this community. Jason Berkowitz, good luck following Troy. Can you follow him?
I will follow Troy anywhere and
you'll
everywhere.
Go ahead.
It is my honor to follow Troy through life, and to be there and to think about Troy on his birthday. Spent the whole damn time responding to people on LinkedIn, thanking them as opposed to disconnecting and being with either family or work. And I know he was traveling, so that's fantastic. Jason Berkowitz, Arrow Up Training, longtime restaurant operator and partner, and founder of Arrow Up, where we help restaurants develop supervisors into leaders, very much focused on a California expansion right now, which is a fantastic market we're tackling. A lot of other great things in the pipeline that we'll talk about, but I'll land my plane quickly. Back on over to you. And currently driving down to, so I'll be wary with the reactions today. Forgive me, because yes, rocket ship for Troy. Driving down to my first Stephen Rano networking.
Oh,
Leaders.
Fletcher Cantina.
We're doing that. Yeah.
Hey,
so
Jason, Ashwin Kamlani is going to be there with Taj, his daughter. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Give him a big hug for me. I was supposed to be there, but business needs are unfortunately causing me not to make it. I was going to go there and then go to the airport, but I've got some meetings I've got to have before I go to the airport. But please say hi to everybody. I was hoping to make today's event. But hey, Jason, I just wanted to share, and sorry, this is very selfish to everybody. I am making the rounds to all of our franchisees, all of our 8 franchise groups on their weekly calls right now. And I'm introducing the global tech stack for Pepper Lunch. We finalized it. We're launching it in the next 2 weeks. And Arrow Up Training is on there. And you're getting a 30-second infomercial to every one of my franchisees as a tool that they should use.
Can he get 60 seconds?
I'll go for 45. I'll meet you at 45.
Sean, if you were to do a commercial for every one of the items in your tech stack, how long would it take you? I only have 30 minutes to do it, so I got to fit everybody in.
Troy, I understand, but the other tech stack members aren't sitting next to you on the stage on the
I understand.
Hey,
Jason gets all the love.
I'm just advocating for him.
Troy, thank you for that, and that's awesome. And for anybody in California right now, definitely. So, but for the global, we're ready. I'm excited to say, Arrow Up is global. We are across the pond, as Richard would like to say.
I don't think Richard global. Says that. Is Richard here? Do they say that? I don't think they say that. I think we call it the.
And now we
said to.
And now expanding out of London and the UK into Switzerland, Paris, and Brussels. So that's pretty exciting. That just happened for Arrow.
Holy shit. We got to catch up. That's amazing.
Yeah. All right. To everybody else, talk about goals.
Well, there you go. That's why we need the rocket ship. We need the rocket ship emoji, LinkedIn. Hildy Isaacs, go for it. 60 seconds.
I feel not worthy. It's like
very
kumbaya.
Worthy. Let's go. Come on.
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. I mean, one of these days I will be in the room where it happens, but it definitely is not today. Today, I don't know about y'all, but I keep listening to the weather out of Tampa. Woo, we got to pray for those people down in Florida for sure the next 48 hours. Hi, I'm Hildy, and I sell swag for a living. And I want to tell you a cool order I placed yesterday. A client called and said, hey, the owner's best friend and best referral partner for 20 years is retiring. What can we give him? So we are giving him a JBL waterproof speaker that's going to be fully branded edge to edge. You won't even see the little dots of the speaker. We're going to be sending him a laser etched Woodford Reserve Kentucky Straight bourbon bottle along with bourbon glasses. We are going to send him Pelican drinkware, which is similar to Yeti, but they give back to Wounded Warrior. We're going to be giving him Travis Matthews hoodies embroidered. And finally, we're going to do a Travis Matthews waterproof duffel bag. All of that stuffed inside. So when he arrives in Vegas the end of the month, he will get a congratulations not only from the owner of the company, from the marketing team. Back to you.
That's amazing. Thank you, Hildy. There are so many people that could use better swag. That's why Hildy is the best. Thank you for being here. Jordan Silverman, what's up? Jordan's crushing it on TikTok. If you guys aren't following him on TikTok, a man of consistency. I love seeing it, Jordan.
I appreciate it, Sean. Thank you. Hey, everyone. Jordan, CEO and co-founder of Starfish here. We use AI to help restaurants and their bookkeepers automate P&L analysis. No more line by line. We actually email you step by step how to lower costs. And in the last 6 months, we have saved our restaurant clients almost $500,000 in costs, which is pretty amazing. Right now, I have two focuses. Number one, on the personal side, it looks like I'm going to miss the hurricane down here in Florida. Knock on wood, a little bit south and very east. So hopefully just some wind, but stocked up as you can imagine. And then number two, we are getting ready to ramp up our seed fundraise early 2025. So right now it's about A, getting ready, and B, trying to offload all of the other work I'm doing because it is a full-time freaking job.
Jordan, remind me, but we need to connect. I have somebody that we're working with that I think could be mutually beneficial connection. So I will
Perfect. I'll shoot you a message. Thank you.
Yeah, got it. Eric, go ahead, my friend.
Hey guys,
Farrell's in the house. Go for it.
I am Eric Farrell, owner of the wordkitchen.com, ghostwriter for the hospitality industry. I'm focusing on food tech, and I think they all need educational email courses, but there's a whole lot of conversations to be had there. What am I working on today? Today has been a weird day. It's my parents' 42nd anniversary, and I helped my mom take my dad to the emergency room today because he was hanging out with a 104-degree fever last night and super dehydrated, and we don't know what's going on, but I think he's okay. Okay enough that I could leave the hospital and come hang out with you guys for a bit. But perspective for everybody. As I was sitting in the waiting room for ER, waiting for them to give him a bed, I was watching the video from Michael Beck talking about hunkering down as this hurricane hits. And no matter what you got going on in your life, somebody else has it harder. Always find somebody else to pray for because everybody needs it. So I'm praying for Florida right now.
I appreciate that, Eric. Yeah, and much love to Michael Beck, to all the restaurant owners, hospitality professionals, anybody that is in Florida, obviously part of this digital hospitality community. We're thinking about you. That's 100% sure. Thank you, Eric. Douglas Higgins, go ahead, my friend. 60 seconds.
All right. Well, hello, folks. I have a company called Havatar that does as-built drawings of existing buildings. We laser scan stuff and turn it into Revit and CAD for people. And I've got a couple of different hats I wear. What I've been doing today is related to some of those other hats. It's been a pretty international day. We were talking to a client in the Dominican Republic this morning about a hospitality operation they want to expand, and we're working with them on how to do it. And I was catching up with a high school friend in Mexico who's got a glamping operation about some of the glamping cabins that we offer through Hostel Cubed. So a little bit erratic all over the place, but all very interesting, and grateful for all that variety.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Doug. Thank you for your consistency coming to the community. Richard Liverman. Richard, it was a pleasure to talk over WhatsApp. The technology that we have in our fingertips. There are no excuses anymore.
It's good fun. I love the fact that we've got such an international community and voices and opinions from all over the world and all over the States. It's great. I love it. My name's Richard. I am based around the philosophy of don't be boring. I work as a business coach, branding expert and mentor. I love what I do. And I also have a part-time role as the cultural attaché to this room. And Sean, I've got a quick question for you. When you fill up your car, What do you put in it? As long as it's not a test, otherwise this won't work. So, Sean, what do you put in your car?
Petrol.
Gas.
No, Sean. If you came to the UK and
Gasoline.
tried to, no,
Gasolina. It's the gasolina.
no. When you come over to Europe, you put petrol or diesel in your car. The only thing that's full of gas is somebody with trapped wind.
That is why we love having Richard. One of the many reasons, but he educates me on every call, mostly on pronunciation, but also on word origin. So thank you, Richard. We appreciate it. Michael, fresh from the TV appearance, came to San Pedro Fish Market, and I love it because I was notified by Instagram. Are they still there?
Can you hear me? Okay?
I can.
Downtown LA.
Are you still on the news?
I just left. I just just finished the last segment, and I'm heading to. So I'm driving through downtown LA. We did 3 segments on Fox 11, which went really well, and promoting Kings of Fish, our TV show, which we are looking for help and partners as we prepare for season 2. Now I'm driving to Studio City through LA traffic to meet with a gentleman named Evan, who does LA in a Minute. If you haven't watched this guy's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, podcast, he is a content creating machine.
I freaking love
we
Evan.
Were on with him very
High
early.
five.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. So he reached out to me and said, hey, I'm doing a 90-minute long form. I want you to be on the first episode if you can make it out by noon. I'm like, I will cancel everything and be there. So I'm on my way there now. It's pretty cool dude, man. So that's what I'm doing.
Amazing. Michael, thank you. Thank you for finding time to tell us those incredible stories. I can't wait for that episode. I'm a huge fan of that creator. He's awesome. Jaheim? Jaheim, is that correct? How do you pronounce your name?
Jaheim is right. You know, people call me Jay.
Jay, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. I'm in Puerto Rico, where many come to vacation. You know, love where I live. I do what everyone dreads doing. You know, I cold call for a living. So started as a rep. I'm now a full cycle AE for a company that it's known as Superhuman Prospecting. We kind of build those relationships with companies and put their services or product on the radar and help you find new opportunities that you may not have known that existed. That being said, it's interesting learning about everyone here and actually connecting with you all, and I appreciate for the opportunity.
Jay, thank you. How'd you find the room?
I believe I've joined before, Richard Liverman, and there was another lady here that I follow, Elizabeth.
Yep.
So every time they join or every time they have something going on live, it always gives me the notification.
Right on, Jay. Well, we appreciate you being here. Hope you keep joining us. Please follow other people. Everyone give Jay a follow. Thanks for being here, man. We're excited to have you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Scott Turner, 60 seconds.
Hi, everyone. Scott Turner, founder of Odin Hospitality. We are rewriting the rules of hotel F&B because hotels don't need to have boring restaurants and bars. We're doing that with our team of thinkers and doers because we put as much effort into the doing and implementation as we do the blue sky thinking. Sounds like a really good room tonight, so I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Always love it when you can make it. Appreciate it. Matt. Clear Cogs. Are you able to unmute?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can. Go for it.
Calling in on my computer for the first time.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Going old school. Matt Wampler here with Clear Cogs. Yeah, we help restaurants know what to order, what to prep, and who to staff each day. And today I'm working on a fun project. We were working on a restaurant Wrapped last year that never actually made it out to the public. But this year we're going to be doing a Spotify Wrapped for your restaurant data, a nostalgic look back at the year and some of the highlights. So I'm messing around and figuring out how we're going to do that today.
That's awesome. Well,
Matt, have I heard you say what to order, what to prep, and what to staff?
And all credit goes to the famous Jason Berkowitz, because when you're trying to figure out how to say something, you go to Jason.
But have I heard you say that? Because I feel like that's the first time I've heard that, and that's awesome.
Say it again. Say it again, man.
We're here to let you know what you need to Whatever I said before.
We're here to help you know what to order, what to prep, and what to staff each day.
Everything sounds better out of Jason's mouth.
But that thank you. Let's talk about you. That was good. I get it. I'm like, oh, you can help me with those 3 things, and they're connected. Let's talk. So I like that real-time feedback. On with the show.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
There it is. Thank you, Matt. And Ash, James, Summer, Mark, Mike, Chad, Mitch, we appreciate you. We see you down below. I think we've reached our speaker limit, but we always want more voices up here. So LinkedIn, if you're listening, I don't know why it's a 17-person speaker limit, but so be it. That is what it is. Setting realistic goals. So interesting topic, Mike. I appreciate the topic, especially for someone like me, because I'm so unrealistic. I'm dream big dreams. I think we've had multiple room titles of dream big dreams. Try to do things that are outside the box, try to do things that haven't been done before. But setting realistic goals is a good conversation for me specifically. When I think about Cali Barbecue Media, what we're trying to accomplish with the shows that we produce on a weekly basis, monthly basis, daily basis, yearly basis, the things that we do for our clients. And everything comes back to the formula that we talk about, which is quantity plus speed plus consistency will eventually equal quality. So part of our content creation, digital storytelling formula is that most people are willing to be uncomfortable online. So people do not want to make a video on YouTube because they don't know how to make a video on YouTube. Well, we've recently added 2 YouTube experts to our team because we know how important YouTube is. And yet here we are 7 years into this media company doing as much as we do, and we haven't had the resources. It was unrealistic for us because we weren't able to add the team members, but now we are at a point where it is realistic. It is realistic to add reinforcements to focus and prioritize YouTube, not just for our shows, but for the work that we do for our clients. And when I think about where did the media company start, which was Behind the Smoke, our original audio only podcast back in 2017, Above the Butcher Shop, the goal was just to start storytelling and to do it consistently and to do it with audio. It wasn't even video, but we definitely cared about show notes because of Tim Ferriss and the work that he was doing, producing very detailed show notes with links to the things that he was talking about, because he cared about the people, he cared about his audience. He cared about creating things that he would want to consume. And if he listened to something interesting, stay curious, get involved, ask for help, he would want to follow his curiosity and he would want a strong link. So when I think about our show Behind the Smoke and where we started, of like, how am I going to produce a show every single week? Well, I knew that I could do the work, but I also knew that I had to run the restaurant, I had to do all the other things. We were doing barbecue events at that time, had a lot of moving parts, and I knew that I needed somebody to help me at that time, which is why Corey Wagner, who was my social media manager for Cali Barbecue at the time, I asked him, would he be willing to do the show, produce this Behind the Smoke show. As we started going, what I realized was what the workload was too much just for him, and we actually needed to add someone else to the team. So it's like when I think about being realistic, it's hard to be realistic about things that are big things. When I look at our team now, so happy to have Kyle on the call and Stover on the call and Mike and Gavin. Like, this is incredible. Like, I never thought that, these building in public, these Cali Barbecue Media, let's just build in public and, have conversations, have team meetings that have turned into these, weekly calls. What is that going to look like? I had no idea. It would be unrealistic for me to assume that we would have a community this close, this tight, that are doing this kind of cool shit in real life and online. It would have been unrealistic for me to assume that. But what was realistic is, one of my favorite quotes is the Arthur Ashe quote, which is, do what you can with what you have right now. Like, that's it. Like, what's realistic? Let's meet on a weekly basis on an app that we didn't have to create. We didn't need to create Clubhouse. I didn't need to create LinkedIn, yet here we are. If we make a commitment to consistently show up and talk about the things that we believe in, well, maybe one day that'll turn into a show that we can republish on our digital hospitality feed. Maybe in 2025, our goal is to have every single day of the week a show, internal show. So getting restaurant influencers to 2 shows a week, getting digital hospitality to publishing 5 days a week. Like that is a huge unrealistic goal. But if we don't, you know, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? How do you climb a mountain one step at a time? So that's my thoughts on realistic goals. I know we got a lot of people to get through, but great topic, and just wanted to share some of the inside the Cali Barbecue Media publishing playbook. So thanks for the topic, Mike. Stover, go for it. Stover, if you're able. If not, Mike is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I almost think like setting realistic goals with the caveat of it's okay if they're unrealistic, but also giving yourself grace at the same time, which I think is beyond anything I do. I think is something to just try to figure out all at the same time, right? Because like sitting down at your desk, all right, let me set myself some realistic goals for the day, I think is an unrealistic goal in itself. So as I put this topic out there, I was kind of struggling with it, but that's why I was kind of glad we could all talk about it, because I don't know sometimes how to differentiate between the two. And I get confused with, is this realistic goal? Is this not? Am I doing a good job? Did I not do a good enough job? So I think for myself, two things I've tried to do is one, give myself grace on that. And then also just put the output that I can. It is obviously really important to give yourself goals. I think without them, sometimes you can just float, and that's okay too in a lot of aspects, because great things can come by accident as well. And I don't think you have to have a goal necessarily to make that happen. But at the same time, like giving yourself something to check into. Like I literally I have a notebook and I have to write down my goals, even if it's for the day. Like, hey, this is what I need to get done. These are my goals. If it doesn't happen, I move it to the next page. But I like to put that down there so I know something that I can strive for. But then at the same time, like, obviously you have work, you have deliverables, you got to get things done, and a little pressure is good to make deadlines. But depending on what it is, I totally think it's healthy to give yourself a little bit of grace, and understand that those goals will be conquered eventually. Even if I, with this long kind of rant, don't really understand how to set realistic goals, but I kind of have my system that I'm, working with and evolving with in real time.
Yeah, great. The dichotomy between having a deadline and giving yourself grace, and also just the time horizon. Like any goal is accomplishable if you give it enough time. Like, can I learn how to speak Bulgarian in a week? No. Can I learn how to speak Bulgarian in 10 years? Yeah, but what am I going to do on a consistent basis to actually get me to learn to speak Bulgarian? Which is a goal of mine. Ironically enough, I have a 7-year-old boy that's fluent in Bulgarian. My wife is Bulgarian. I go to Bulgaria every year, yet I still do not know the language. So here's one of the goals. But I'm going to give myself grace, the fact that I don't know it. And technology is ever improving too. So by the time I do know it, it'll probably be easier to use my phone to speak Bulgarian. Gavin, realistic goals.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with a book recommendation. Everything I learned about goals, I learned through the book Measure What Matters by John Doerr. He was basically one of the founders of Google, and did some amazing work there. And he talks about OKRs and objectives and key results. It's a fantastic way to attain what your goal is. And the most important thing is knowing your why. We've talked about this on this call before, but knowing why you want to achieve the goal is going to be the catalyst for getting it done. When you make them, he talks about making them aggressive but realistic. And the reason for that is that you want to attain the best possible outcome, but you also want to build trust with the people that are going to be achieving the goal, that you understand that there's challenges to it, and that setting a realistic expectation makes it more attainable. Making your goals measurable is also really important. Defining the what, which is the objective, and then establishing a measurable key result will help you get there. I've used this process through my media career. I can give you one example. At Donut Media, we wanted to launch another podcast, and we were looking at, what in the racing motorsport space could set us apart. So our goal was to create a motorsports podcast that was hosted by females because there really wasn't any female voices in that space. It was a lot of bland motorsports journalists that weren't really having fun with it and weren't making it that engaging. So we set that out as a goal, and then hired two amazing female journalists in Alanis King and Elizabeth Blackstock, and basically set out to create our 10 episode series, book guests, laid out everything measurable in it, and then we attained our goal, and we were able to, because we had a really established why. Everyone was collaborative and had a collective commitment to making that happen. So again, Measure What Matters is a terrific book to check out if you're looking at defining goals, and knowing the why will help you attain that goal.
That was a great story. Measure What Matters. I'm adding it to my list. Thank you, Gavin. Elizabeth.
Yeah, sure. So for me, there are numbers that you can control and numbers that you can't control. And if you are setting your goals towards numbers that you cannot control, you're going to find yourself frustrated. If you're setting them to numbers that you can control, then it'll be easier just to check the box off. And what I mean by this is I could say I want to get 1,000 views on my next reel. I cannot control how many views or likes or comments or saves or shares that something gets. Those are numbers I cannot control. What I can control is how often I'm actually showing up and posting. So instead of making your goals based off of the views, make your goals, and especially social media stuff, make your goals off of, I'm going to try to post twice this week. Because you may not be able to be Sean, who is posting twice a day, but he also has an awesome team. So there's that. But this is the same for your health. You may say, I want to lose this many pounds by the end of this month. You can't control that number. I'm so sorry to tell you that, but you can control how many times you get out there and walk and you exercise and all those things. So that's my advice for today: is look to the numbers, or the parts of it that you can control, and stop giving. And I loved what I think it was Michael, that was talking about giving yourself grace as well. So anyway, back to you, Sean.
Awesome. Great stuff, Elizabeth. Kyle
Hey,
Pfluger.
Sean,
Hey.
real
Oh,
quick.
there he is.
Hi.
Hey.
I got we have a babysitter coming over, right? But
Okay.
I was with the boy until he comes stuck at home, like I said. There's my kid, when he was doing his pre-K program, before he was even really talking, started saying this term brick by brick that he picked up in school based on a kid's book, brick by brick. And I've never read the book. The name is enough for me, and I love to just judge books by a cover, but that's a joke. But brick by brick to me means a lot, just the idea. And I think of it as another idea of one day at a time, one step at a time. And I say it to my kids all the time now, to remind them that slow down, do one thing at a time, be realistic about what's happening. But I use it by just saying the term brick by brick. And so, I want, whether they have kids or not, I want you all to think about that idea. When things are too overwhelming for you and you have all these goals and all this to-do lists, just think of those words, brick by brick. You can't build anything without brick by brick.
That was phenomenal. Thank you. I'm happy that you figured out a way to contribute that. That was amazing. Kyle Pfluger.
Thanks for that, Stover. That's actually right in line with sort of my same mentality on this. And I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with goals, because I feel like after spending a lot of time in sort of the corporate world, goals become a bit of a catch-all for corporate speak that's really nothing more than a bunch of bullshit that doesn't actually mean anything. Companies set these arbitrary goals. They set these milestones that a lot of times don't really mean what they are supposed to mean. So I think being realistic about goal setting and trying to maintain a healthy perspective with how you look at your goals is super important. So I love the brick by brick analogy, and that resonates with me a lot, and something that likewise with my kids, I try to bring that same mentality, and I'd love to find out what that book is, because it sounds like one that my kids would enjoy. But we are getting ready to take my daughters to get their flu shots later today, and my youngest daughter is not excited about that at all. And we had a great conversation this morning about perspective, and I had look at one side of my hand and then come walk around the other side of me and look at the other side of my hand. And as a way to illustrate perspective on that, explain to her it's the same hand, but depending what side you look from, it's going to look a little bit different. What I was trying to help her wrap her head around is the mindset that she goes into things with is going to completely dictate how she handles a situation, whether it's something that she can do with a healthy mindset, which she's is very much a learning process for her. But it was a good reminder for myself too. And as a dad, I find this more often than not, that when I'm teaching my kids something or trying to illustrate something to them, I'm a lot of times talking to myself as well, as someone that is perhaps at times my overall mental well-being is too closely tied to how productive I feel about given day, be it productive in my work, productive in my home life, productive in my garden. A lot of times my overall sense of well-being and happiness is very, very closely tied to that. And that's something that I continue to work on. And so perspective is something that I'm always trying to maintain. And all the folks that have spoken so far and talked about controlling what you can control, and realizing that what you can control at the end of the day is usually a lot less than you think, and letting go of all the rest of that stuff. I find that when you set goals with that mentality, you're going to get a lot further. I'm a very task-oriented person. I like having checklists to check things off, and I've gotten in the habit of making my checklists as sort of finite as possible. I want them to be the smallest tasks, because if I'm able to check those things off my list, I continually feel like I'm being more productive. And going back to that brick by brick analogy, it helps paint a bigger picture one stroke at a time. That's what I got.
Amazing. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. Jason Berkowitz, brick by brick.
In my book, Please Don't Sleep with the Host, I talk about in management that I'm a fan of lower the bar instead of raise the bar. And the idea being that, if I want you to hit 7, I'm not going to ask you to shoot for 9 and come up short. I'm going to ask you to shoot for 5, give you that positive reinforcement, leverage that momentum, because in my experience, both managing myself and others, that gives you the momentum, power, and wherewithal to actually get to 8. So I'm a huge fan of lower the bar to actually score higher. And while that was very quick, I want to announce something else of my next piece while I have the mic. This has inspired me to start the accountability club, which I have been working on in my head. And we're going to start the accountability club, whoever would like to join. And what we are doing is, I'm a fan of the entrepreneur operating system. I've done that many times for businesses, but using it for ourselves, and less about work and more about life. And I've been doing this, and I've been working with ChatGPT to help sort of guide this, but whoever wants to join, where we map out what are the goals, what are the weekly targets, and then things that are achievable, which again, going on lowering the bar. This is, I'm going to, work out. I love, Elizabeth, what you said was, don't pick the end goal, pick how many days you would go, but even less than that, right? Atomic habits. I'm going to put my shoes on to leave to work out 5 times this week. And we're going to share in the group, and we're going to figure out what our healthy goals and track it. So, global announcement here that we are going to start the Accountability Buddy Club, because everybody needs a buddy. More to follow on that. Reach out. I got some fun ideas.
Amazing. Can't wait to hear more about the Accountability Club. Awesome stuff, Jason.
Count me in for that, Berkowitz.
I was counting on you.
And
Jason, first rule of Accountability Club: there is no Accountability Club.
Well, what do we call it over the pond?
The second rule of Accountability Club: there is no accountability club.
My man.
There it is. Jason, I can't wait to hear how Fletcher Cantina is, the work that Randy's doing. Tell Stephen a big thank you for helping me with Troy, and everyone to this community. Thank you for helping wish Troy a happy birthday. But we couldn't do it without all of you amazing people that took the time to give Troy a very special happy birthday, happy 50th or 49.5 or whatever we're calling it. So thank you, Jason. Drive safe. Hildy, realistic goal.
Am I the only one on the phone that it keeps like glitching and going in and out, or is that just a Hildy thing?
I've been having okay audio, and anybody else having glitches?
It's gone in and out a couple times, but I don't know if it's my cell phone service.
Okay.
Mine's been fine on this side.
It's a Hildy thing. All right, that's fine. So, Jason, if you will allow a swag human into your accountability group, I definitely need to be held accountable. I was thinking maybe I'd borrow someone's gun and knife to my throat to force me to be accountable, but maybe just joining your group would be better. Will you have me?
I will love it.
Thank you,
Looking forward to it.
Jason. Thank you. Goals and setting goals. I think I changed those words for me, and it's more about trying to manifest every day. The whole thing of if I think about Troy, all of a sudden Troy calls me. If I think about Elizabeth, all of a sudden she's tagging me in something or she's coming up on my feed. And let alone, you can't even imagine some of the people on here that post. I am always seeing them as soon as I think about them. So for me, it's manifesting. And this week, I definitely manifested that somebody out there was thinking about me and would send me a referral. And so far today, somebody has sent me 2 introductions I didn't even ask them for. So I think holding myself accountable to remember to manifest. And sometimes manifesting is please eat more than one vegetable today. And then I manifest it and I do it. So sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's harder, but I am really grateful for the human who is not in this group, who did, without me even asking, introduce me to 2 new companies today. Back to you, Sean.
Amazing. Thank you, Hildy. And I did see Michael Beck. Mercedes was trying to bring you up on stage. Michael Beck, I hope you're safe. We did see you in here. If you ever need anything, you know how to get a hold of us. We're here. Stay safe in Florida, and that goes for anybody that might be listening. Douglas Higgins, realistic goals.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah. So my mind is ablaze. So I was trying to organize my thoughts here. So I guess goals are really kind of a function of where you're trying to go and how you're trying to get there. And where you're trying to go, is kind of a vision and mission exercise. And so first you kind of have to understand, what it is really specifically that you're trying to do. And then you got to break it down into measurable, steps to get there that, that are each on their own kind of individually attainable with a realistic timeline. One of my favorite books, is a book called Lynchpin, by Seth Godin. And, the premise of that book is basically at the end of any product, the person who appropriates the value is the artist, and so it's, with entrepreneurship, it's what is it that you are building, that is, uniquely valuable. And every product has an artist at the end of it, that really devoted their time, energy, and art, to bringing that thing to fruition. And one of the people that I've been obsessed with lately is a guy named Rick Rubin, which some people here may know, but he's he's an amazing record producer that's behind some of the biggest artists of all time. And I didn't even know that I was quoting him a few weeks ago when I said, great art is a devotional practice, but I believe that he's the person who originally said that. And he basically said, when I make these records, when I give feedback to people on what to create, I'm doing that for myself. Like, I'm not doing that for anybody else. And, you know, his perspective was that's kind of what's gone wrong with a lot of the movie industry lately, is that people are trying to create what they think others want, you know, and, and, and so in his opinion, the best products are the ones that people, you know, really devote themselves to, create for themselves, and they reflect a lot of the original person that, you know, that was involved in those. And so anyway, I was inspired by that. I think there's a lot of truth to that. I really view it as a devotional practice. And to that end, I think breaking down what you want to achieve, you know, into individual measurable things, and doing a little bit of those every day, you know, is really the recipe for success. And one last thing I'll share is I heard another person talking about weight training, and, you know, they basically said, look, commitment is critical, right? And it's not necessarily that you need to commit to this gargantuan effort every single day. It's you need to commit to doing something, even if that thing is really, really small. And so what he did is, he said, when he has clients, he says, look, here's your minimum effort, and then here's your target effort. And so if you want to achieve your goal, you know, your target is what you're shooting for. Maybe that's 100 push-ups, or, you know, whatever it is. But, you know, every day you should do 5. You should commit, no matter what, to doing 5. And once you start that, you know, you're likely to keep going. But if you commit to that small thing, then it's the first step that may lead to something greater.
That is an incredible share. Huge fan of Seth Godin. I have not read Lynchpin, so I'm going to add another book, thanks to this room, onto my list. And obviously, Rick Rubin is a genius, and a huge fan of the fact that there's more Rick Rubin content out there on the internet is just an absolute gift.
I didn't get a chance to catch that whole part. I had to step away for just a second, so I don't know if this is the Rick Rubin reference that you dropped, but there's a great podcast called Broken Record that, if you guys have not listened to, it is Rick Rubin and Malcolm Gladwell are the two.
Wow.
Two
No
of
way,
them.
really?
Yeah, and they sit down and interview musicians from all across the landscape. There's a couple other hosts on there as well, but they sit down and they go sort of deep into the minds of musicians and how albums were created, how iconic songs were created. Broken Record, again, is the name of the podcast. Definitely worth a listen.
Dude, you just cost me the rest of the week.
Yeah, it is fantastic. Not every episode has Rick Rubin on it. Sometimes it's another host, so you'll kind of have to hunt for those. But they are there's some real gold in there. There's a pretty solid backlog there. I think they're probably a couple hundred deep now.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. And Doug, I can't tell you how happy I am that you're here, part of this community. And for those that don't know, Doug and I, was it eighth? Have we known each other since 8th grade or 9th grade, Doug?
I think it was 9th.
9th grade. So since 9th grade, that's how digital hospitality works. We all find each other, and I'm just so happy that you're here contributing to this community. Thank you. Richard Liverman, realistic goals.
Yeah, I want to put a little different slant on this. And there's a lot of business coaches out there who will talk to you about SMART goals, and, you know, we all know about those. And I think there was something Kyle said that often goals just feel a bit token gesture. So I do an exercise with my clients that's slightly different, and I call them success factors. And I ask people to define 5 things that will make them a success, whether it's themselves or their business. And then I use them as a guide, and I check in each month. So I have 5 success factors for my business, and they're very, very simple. Do my clients enjoy working with me? Do I enjoy working with my clients? Can I get paid? Am I flourishing? And can I do some volunteering? And I have those 5 success factors that each month, at the end of the month, I can look back and go, have I achieved those things? If I haven't on one of them, how do I do a little bit more the following month? But also they help me make decisions. So when I go and meet a client and I think to myself, do I like this person? Can I add value to them? Am I going to enjoy this? And I think sometimes we work so hard on creating these really, really complex goals for our business that how does that work for an employee, or how does that work for us as individuals. But by just putting a little twist on it, and everybody's different. Everybody that I work with, they have different versions of this, but they're there to help you make decisions. They're there to help you keep focused. They're there to help you grow. And I think we often talk in here about scaffolding and how do you help people to grow and what are all of those techniques. And for me, having those success factors has made a massive difference to my business, but it's also made a massive difference to people I work with. How do we judge success? Well, go and create your success factors, and there are so many different variables of what they could be. But for me, that's a way of setting realistic goals that keep you on track. And don't get me wrong, smart goals are useful, but success factors are a bit more fun.
I love that. Success factors. Do you love the work that you're doing? Are you excited to get on this Zoom call? Are you excited to meet this person in real life? Great stuff. Michael, are you able to unmute safely while you're driving?
I'm not driving any longer. I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Setting realistic
Great
goals.
great
For
conversation.
the chief visionary officer of Kings of Fish and San Pedro, how do you set realistic goals?
Man, it's so hard. And what I found is, like Jason was talking about, the entrepreneur operating system, which has come up a few times on these events, and I think that's great because what that system really helped me identify why I have a hard time with goals, because I don't like being restrained, like probably like you, Sean. I've got these big ideas, I want to do all this stuff. And what EOS does is you need to have an integrator. You need to have a visionary and an integrator. So when you're having these big visions, these big ideas, the integrator kind of brings you back down to ground, sort of ground those ideas on what's realistic. And what I found in that exercise is a way to ask questions into it. Like, well, how do you know we can't do it? And why isn't it going to work? And a lot of times what shows up is you realize, okay, well, people are, they frame what they see as a possibility or an impossibility is framed by their personal experience and background. And in some cases, they're right. There's principles, laws, and mechanics that are going to keep us from doing this particular thing. And then what I do is I go find people that have done it. Like I've been working to relaunch our retail brand, seasoned spices and packaged meals, for some time, but I know I don't know how to do it. So I do think it's possible to create $100 or $200 million business out of that, because I've read other people doing it with similar stories to ours. Family owned business and this butcher, and all of a sudden Kinder's is $300 million. I'm like, there's a pathway to get there. Because we can't see that pathway doesn't mean that it's not possible. It just means we don't know how to do it. So what I'll set as a goal is to find 3 or 4 people that have. Let's talk to them, let's interview them, and then let's really probe and see. Like, I had a conversation a week ago. I think we were talking about this Monday, Sean, with Jonathan Sebastiani of Sonoma Brands, and how he invented Crave Jerky and sold it to Hershey for some crazy amount of money, like $350 million. And I followed him for some time, but I couldn't figure out how to connect with him, except I found him on LinkedIn. Dumb, didn't think to do that. And then through the intro app, him and I were able to have a conversation. And in that conversation, I realized that since he did that, he's done it over and over with multiple brands. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what I'm looking for. This is the pathway. I don't know how to do it. So it's unrealistic for me to maybe say we can get from here to there in 5 years. But if you find the right help and you can build your network that way, I don't need to learn it. I just need to partner with somebody that has the resources, the knowledge, the network to learn the packaging, the production, the sales, and the distribution of a product like that. And I think the same thing, there's this whole time we were doing Kings of Fish, I always thought there's a way that we could stream this somewhere. And the rest of the family was like, no, we can't. That's impossible. Okay, I accept that we don't know how to do it, but if we find the right people, it's possible. So, the realistic goals to me is I'm sorry, I'm going to add one other thing. One of my mentors taught me, create the biggest vision you can think of, even if you can't see your way there, because it opens the space for the people around you to make offers to help you get there. And because if your vision's too small, they may leave to go find someone else to work with. So there's a balancing act there about having this bigger vision and going after it, and framing it in a way that it doesn't sound like a fantasy. It just sounds like we just don't know how to do it yet. Let's find the right people. And I think that's made all the difference in what some of the things we've done. The last thing I'll add is, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my Tommy, who's our founder, and my uncle, along with my dad and my grandfather, one of their best friends who worked in the original fish market, like when they were all 15 years old, told me, I think it was at my dad's funeral, he might have told me this. He goes, when we were kids, they had career day in high school. I think we were 16 years old and went around the classroom, asked everybody what they want to do. And your Uncle Tommy said, I want to own the biggest fish market in town. He had this vision to do that. And I'm like, shit, well, he pulled that off. So sometimes it's constituting that idea and bringing it forth in language, which is really what storytelling to me is all about. And making sure that you don't let yourself get defeated by people around you that say it's impossible. Just say, okay, I get you don't know how to do it. I accept. Let's find the people that can help us get there. And I think that's made all the difference for us.
That's a magical share. Thank you, Michael. That was amazing, and I'm so happy that we are recording it so that people on the digital hospitality feed can listen. That was awesome, Mike. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Matt, are you a realistic man or unrealistic?
You know what? I am, going back to Berkowitz's accountability thing, I am awful when it comes to specific goals and objectives, like on a granular level, those KPIs. Like I hate OKRs. I know we have to do them. We force ourselves to do them. I love missions. I love guiding lights. Like we just went through our whole OKRs for Q4, and, I find if you can attach a story or a narrative to what we're doing, what we're trying to achieve this quarter or this year, right? Like all of the little numbers that matter, like almost getting taken care of. So like, for us, it's all about winning and why this quarter. Like, how do we win people when they're on the website, and why did we win them? How did we win in our pilots, and why did we win it? And if I can always just be hitting that message throughout, the quarter, like all of the little goals take care of themselves.
That's guiding lights. Do you have anything you want to add on that? Because that might be a room topic all in of itself, Matt.
No, I just I remember in my first restaurant, my whole soul waking purpose was to take the store to $1 million. And like every decision we made was, is this going to help us get to $1 million? And like, if you can find, it's really hard to come up with that core thing that you're trying to achieve. But if you can really nail it, it becomes like the background, engine for every decision you make.
That's awesome. I love it. And Simon, I'm trying to bring you up on stage. I don't know if you need to go in the room or out, but we're trying to get you up on stage. We see you with your hand raised. So thank you for your patience with LinkedIn.
What Matt brings up really quickly is what to say no to, which is really key, right? What goals you don't try to achieve and set because it's not helping reach that guiding light.
Yeah, I think saying no is a whole conversation in and of itself, especially for a yes man like me. Always saying yes. How do you say no? Eric Farrell, realistic goals, setting realistic goals.
I don't have any. I set goals that are just way too ridiculous, and I think
give us a ridiculous goal. What's your ridiculous goal?
Okay, well, my ridiculous goal that many of you would view as probably not that unattainable, but I'm new to the game. I want to have such large wealth financially that I can get out of the red, through the black, and into the green, get rid of all of my debts, and not have big Lambo money. That's not what I want. I don't want to be flashy. I want to help people. I want to take care of business, and I want to support my parents in their sunset years because they're going to be very unhealthy and very expensive, and I want to take care of them. And I have had a bad history with money for 25 years, and I want to get rid of that. And the big end goal, I can buy a thing that I want now. At the end of that rainbow is I grew up vacationing on a lake in Michigan about 2 weeks every year. And my grandparents started taking my mom there when she was like 3 because they had college friends that lived on the lake. And I grew up on this absolutely picturesque, amazing lake for 2 weeks every summer. And it was the best time of my life. And you could jump off the dock and it was 2 feet deep, hard packed sand, no weeds, crystal clear spring-fed water. It was like out of a novel. It was so epic. And I'm determined to own a house on that little strip of that southeast corner of that lake. That's my big ridiculous goal. But for right now, my goal has to be refill income, build this business, and make this successful to take care of my family. So no, I'm not good at setting realistic goals. I have huge astronomical goals, but I'm not good at bite-sizing that elephant to get me there. In business, I'm not good at that in business. I'm great at that in so many other areas of my life. And, cooking is one example. You, uh, it's spur of the moment. I basically catered a friend's wedding. I kept saying, what can I do to help? And she said, well, I don't know, just go chop the lettuce for the salad at the end of the service before everybody goes down to the reception. Can you do that? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll get the salads ready. And then catering was going to get delivered, but nobody had anything else organized. I was the only one in the kitchen, and everybody starts coming in at the end of the service like, hey, are you running the show? What do we need to do to help? Oh, well, I told them, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you set this on that table? And then a carload of food got delivered, and nobody had any idea what to do. I had no problem breaking all of that out, giving people instructions, and managing the catering for that on the spot, enough that people were offering me jobs at the end of the wedding. But why can't I take that concept of, I know what the end goal is, I need to serve people and make it look good, and I can rewind that in the kitchen and cook a holiday meal with 15 pieces and not break a sweat, and I love it, and my family doesn't know how I do it. But I can't do that with so many other bigger, nasty, hairier things in life that have so much more risk, like leaving the corporate world, starting a business, and refilling an absence of income to take care of my family and not make my kids sweat about money like I did. Um, I'm learning this, and I'm very fortunate that I've got a good friend that's coming alongside me a little bit more every week or two, and is kind of coaching me through some of those mindset problems that I have to help me see how to break things into action steps for the goals. I think that's my problem. I tend to see the big picture business wise, but I can't piece that apart. I have to do this and then this and then this. And Sean, I'm like you. I'm a yes man. I want to help everybody so much, and I want to do so many things for so many people that I just say yes to too many things, and I got too much on my plate, and now I got to rewind and go, crap, what's the first goal? What's the first priority? And how do I get through that? So I don't have this all figured out. I'm learning, but I love learning from you guys. Thank you. That's all
That
I
was
got.
an incredible share, Eric. And I can't. The coolest part is that one day you will have that house on the lake, and we will all be part of that story because you were so vulnerable and willing to share. Amazing, dude. Seriously,
We welcome
thank
you to
you.
the accountability club.
Yes, Jason, I'm in.
Good plug, Jason. Good plug. Well done.
Yeah, I'm in, dude.
Dean LeVay, realistic goals.
Realistic goals. Well, for Dean LeVay, just a short 3 years ago, it was just basically just showing up. You know, that was a that was all I knew to do. Just show up. Keep showing up. You'll learn something. I've been listening to all the different topics, and the number one goal that everybody should have listed down is to take care of oneself first. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So basically, my goals 40 years ago uh, were different than my goals today. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to show up, and I'm grateful to Jason because he makes me accountable. And I'm grateful to this group. Anyway, that's it. Number one goal. Sometimes just showing up. If you do that, that's the first step, and then after that, take small steps until you get to where you're going. But your goals will change. Your goals is like everything else. They change. They change all the time. And the thing is, to be aware is to be alive. You have to understand where you're at, what's going on, know your limitations, and continuing trying to grow. Try to get a little bit better every day. That's it.
Amazing. Dean, we are grateful for you to be part of this community. Mercedes, setting realistic goals. Mike is yours. Go for it. Oh,
Can you guys hear me?
We can. Go ahead.
Okay, I was looking out. So I think this is the thing, right? Any goal that you think is unrealistic, somebody else is achieving, but they've just learned with time on how to achieve it, time, commitment, and then like innovating it and making it work. So I like made a goal for myself 5 years ago to buy a house, and within that 5-year goal, I made other goals like to buy my first car and like to do all these other things. And I ended up doing every single thing that was on my goals list for the 5-year goal. And what did I learn out of that is sometimes your goals aren't ideal, or sometimes like what you think you want, like if I were to do it again, I would have reworked how I did it. So like I would have bought my house before I invested and been a chief operating officer for roaming in LA, because now that I'm where I'm at, it would have been a smarter move. But the only way to achieve any of that was to be willing to commit every day, day in and day out, to my goals and make them happen, and essentially innovate along the way, because sometimes things don't go as planned. Sometimes you have the jobs that you think you have, and then you don't have jobs that you thought you had, and stuff like that. So yeah, I really love this conversation. I think that a lot of us in here are visionaries, and like Mike said, it's like sometimes you just need somebody that knows what they're doing because they've had time to learn how to do it, to guide you in the right direction. I think that's really imperative in business and in your personal life, and just seeking help and always looking for ways around problems. And I think we all know that in this room. So I'm really loving this conversation.
Awesome. Thank you, Mercedes. Michael, what is the topic for Friday? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yes, let me move tabs. It is, where do we go? Here we are. Yes, if you weren't working on your current business or job, what would you be doing as your career?
Okay, there it is. So look at that. We're making realistic goals and setting room topics ahead of time, promoting.
I'm going to add that link into the calendar right now.
Oh, look at that.
Put the topic title, right?
Jason.
You can swap out the topic title too right now too, so we all have time to think about it.
See that? Look at that. Look at all that realistic goals.
Topic title is swapped out. What are you talking about?
The name on the Google Calendar, put the name of what the event is.
Yeah. So it's great because it gives everybody time, and then everyone gets to listen to everybody, not worrying about their story because they have their story ready to go before they show up.
Jason, thank you for the training.
Did that come out right? That came out like a dick, didn't it? No.
You need to lower the bar, Jason. Where are you raising the bar for Stover? You got to lower it.
Stower leaped over the bar. I'm watching Stower go raise himself.
No, I'm limboing right now.
Okay.
Cute.
Tip, takeaway, homework assignment. Stover, go ahead. If you're able.
Hey, yeah, my homework is I love our amazing, huge team now, and I'm going to keep working with our teammates on all this cool stuff we're starting. Very excited about it.
Awesome. Thank you. Michael, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Gavin, I want to check out the book you mentioned, and it was, I believe, Measure What Matters. Just confirming that, and I want to check that out.
Yep.
There it is. Gavin, tip, takeaway, homework assignment.
Don't compare yourself to who others are today. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday.
That's a great quote. Yeah. That's awesome.